is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. We begin with a bizarre story out of a Fargo cemetery. A woman is facing charges after crashing her ex-boyfriend's funeral, running over grave sites and trying to hit people with her car. Fargo police were called to Riverside Cemetery on Saturday after a disturbance was reported. When officers caught up with the suspect, she said she was sitting in her car when multiple people approached. She felt unsafe and drove off. But when police spoke to the father of the deceased, he said she wasn't welcome. Another family member said the suspect accelerated the car toward him so quickly that he had to jump out of the way. 28-year-old Blair Witten of Barnesville, Minnesota, has been charged with 1 count of reckless endangerment. New developments tonight in the murder case of 19-year-old Destiny Avery. The woman who helped cover up the gruesome murder last April will not spend another day in jail. 27-year-old Andrea Payne pleaded guilty to 1 count of aiding an offender in second-degree murder. Today, a Clay County judge gave her credit for the 378 days she's already served in jail, a $1,000 fine, and up to 5 years of supervised probation. Payne apologized to the family of Destiny Avery this morning, saying she wishes she could go back and change the outcome of Destiny's fate. Tonight on Valley News Live at 5, hear more from Payne as well as Destiny's family's emotional pleas to the judge. 2 of the men shot at a downtown Fargo bar in February have been charged with assault. Brandon Grant faces several charges after allegedly opened fire in the Bismarck Tavern on February 21st. Police say the fight started after 29-year-old Willie Carl Jr. punched Grant several times. He and another man, 34-year-old Tommy Trent, are each charged with conspiracy to commit simple assault. A Fargo woman is behind bars after police say she threw a knife at someone during an argument. Police were called to 625 21st Street South yesterday for a report of a disturbance with a knife. Multiple people say Erin Sunby was screaming and threatening them. Police say she punched one woman and threw a drink at her, then threatened to kill a man, throwing a knife at him, just barely missing his head. Sunby is facing 2 counts of terrorizing and attempted aggravated assault. With the cooler temperatures came quite a bit of wind. Hutch, will it stick around this evening?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be cool and windy with gusts approaching 40 miles per hour for many of us, and we're more than 20 degrees colder than we were yesterday at this time. Can you believe Saturday was almost 90s? Well, gusty winds over 30 miles per hour up and down the Red River Valley, 40s north, 50s south, and we do have a couple of 60s in Aberdeen, but we have swift moving clouds from north to south. Radar, though, fairly quiet with a couple of blips showing up not far from the international border. So I'll leave a slight chance of a sprinkle there, but in Fargo this evening, 50s until after sunset. Then the wind starts to taper off and the temperatures are going to nosedive. Many of us at or below freezing by morning. Unbelievable. And we go from 90s, Stacy, to a chance of flakes. I'll have the details on that coming up here in just a few moments on this cool week.
Oh no, that's worse than I thought it was going to be, Hutch. All right, that escalated quickly. Thanks.
Yeah.
In Jamestown, police are asking for your help finding a person of interest in an assault case. They responded to the assault report around 7:30 yesterday morning. Police say a 47-year-old man was asleep in bed when a man broke into his trailer and stabbed him, then took off on a black bicycle. Police are looking for 44-year-old Timothy Ost. He's 5'9", about 170 pounds. He had just grayish brown hair and was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and blue jeans. If you have information, call the Jamestown Police Department at 701-252-1000. A 1-year-old girl is dead after being hit by a car yesterday. Police say the baby was hit in the driveway of a home near Walker, Minnesota around 5 p.m. The driver, 28-year-old Anthony Goose, took off. Authorities tried to save the girl, but she was pronounced dead. Goose eventually returned to the home where he was arrested. He's in jail now, awaiting formal charges. Chilly waters and windy conditions are to blame for 2 incidents on Leech Lake in northern Minnesota over the weekend. 1 person has died and 3 girls were rescued in 2 separate water emergencies. The first happened when 2 men were in a boat off the Sucker Bay landing and one of them fell into the water. The other man jumped in and was able to get the victim to shore, but the 68-year-old man was not able to be revived. Authorities had to rescue 3 girls off the lake the next day after their kayaks started taking on water. One of the girls fell into the lake. Thankfully, all 3 were wearing life jackets. The sheriff says the water temperature was about 45 degrees and credits the life jackets for helping save lives. Event organizers say refunds from a taco festival gone wrong this weekend might take until the end of the month. In a phone interview with Valley News Live this morning, the festival's leader apologized for the event not going as planned, saying, quote, "I take full responsibility for not having enough food vendors. Some customers reported waiting in line for more than an hour, then walking away with nothing." Other organizers say the ticket money is still pending, but they assure customers wanting a refund that they'll receive communication about how to get their money back within a few weeks. You may be able to get your COVID vaccine at your next doctor's appointment. Sanford Health will begin offering COVID shots at some primary care clinics this month. Shots will be offered to patients during their regularly scheduled doctor visits. You can also call the clinics to set up an appointment. You do not have to be a Sanford patient to get your COVID vaccine through them, and you can come to Sanford for your second dose even if you got your first through someone else. Sanford is still offering scheduled and walk-in appointments at the former Gordman store in Fargo. There's a new, easy way to help Americans find vaccination sites. The Biden administration has launched a texting service to help you track down a place to get your shot. All you have to do is text your zip code to GetVax, and you will receive a text informing you of the 3 closest vaccine sites in your area and phone numbers so you can call for an appointment. It'll also provide a link with additional vaccine locations. The website vaccines.gov also has a new tool that allows users to enter a zip code to find locations with COVID-19 doses in stock. CVS and Walgreens have wasted more vaccine doses than states, U.S. territories, and federal agencies combined. That's according to government data obtained by Kaiser Health News. The data showed that as of late March, the CDC recorded at least 182,000 wasted vaccine doses, with CVS discarding nearly half that amount. The Pfizer vaccine made up close to 60% of those tossed doses, most of which occurred during the early days and weeks of the vaccine rollout. As a whole, pharmacies accounted for nearly 75% of wasted vaccines. If you're looking for a place to get the vaccine, use our V&L vaccine tracker. It's on the homepage of our website, or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. President Biden continues his road trips to highlight the benefits from 2 ambitious legislative proposals he sent to Congress. Skylar Henry has details from the White House.
President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden focused on education Monday with a stop at an elementary school.
This is 9th grade, right? Oh, no. It seemed like 9th grade, you're so smart.
And a trade center at a community college.
Well, the good thing is you guys will get jobs. I mean, that's the beauty of community college, right?
The stops are meant to highlight the benefits of his American Families Plan, focusing on education, including universal preschool, free community college, and helping families afford child care.
The good news is I think there's overwhelming bipartisan support for this. If you look at the polling data, Republican voters overwhelmingly support it. Now I just got to get some of my Republican colleagues to support it.
The White House says President Biden plans to meet with a bipartisan group of lawmakers as he tries to get Congress on board with not only his education plan, but his infrastructure bill as well. Together, the president is asking Congress to spend an additional $4 trillion, paid for mostly with tax hikes on the rich as well as corporations.
I'm not anti-corporate, but it's about time they start paying their fair share.
Republicans say there is a deal to be had, but it needs to be at a much lower price tag and without big tax increases.
Anybody that says this is going to be on just the 1% or big corporations, I mean, that's just phony math. Americans understand that with this kind of spending and this kind of borrowing and taxing, everyone is going to get hit in their wallet.
The White House says if necessary, the president will consider trying to pass the bills without Republican support. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The president used a Senate maneuver known as reconciliation to pass the latest coronavirus relief package. The move allows the Senate to pass budget bills with a simple majority. The Cass County State's attorney won't seek charges against NDSU for the botched killing of a cow. The slaughter on February 22nd was considered a violation by the USDA, but the state's attorney's office says formal charges aren't necessary. The report goes on to say corrective actions were taken, including the suspension of operations and a corrective action plan. Since the report, the lab has maintained compliance. For some, it's a time of major spring cleaning. For others, major curbside shopping. Cleanup Week begins today in Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Grand Forks, and East Grand Forks. You can put unwanted items on the curb, and the city will pick them up on your regular garbage day. Sanitation officials ask that you bag up what you can so the wind doesn't blow it away. Cleanup Week isn't just an excuse to get rid of your old junk. Some see it as an exciting time to refresh your home and start new projects.
clean out the garage to start some new projects from the winter. It's a chance before the grass grows up tall in the backyard to get some things out and just have them gone to start fresh.
Sharp items like knives and glass should be placed in cardboard boxes and taped up. Each city has their own rules for what can be picked up, so make sure you check before you put your junk on the curb. Straight ahead, Mother's Day is this weekend. We have some unique gift ideas coming up.
Temperatures yesterday soared to 78 degrees after almost 90 on Saturday. Today we're in the 50s and your forecast is next.